All the nation, this is Carlos Reyes, and welcome back to the realest podcast in the game, where we bring you the cream of the crop. That's right, the top 1% in the world, and we dig deep to see what makes them tick. Today, I got a man right across the table that needs no introduction. This man's been lighting souls on fire for decades. If you don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock. Mr. Dean Graziosi. Brother, welcome to the podcast. Man, I want to be very intentional with today's session. And first and foremost, what have you been up to? What does this year look like for you with everything that's going on in the world?
Just sitting around drinking margaritas, just seeing. No, what's up, man?
I was here a few weeks ago and you weren't doing that.
Yeah, so. No, I'm just kidding. First off, great to be here with you, man. And congratulations for all that you do for the world and all the success you have. And I see your drive to serve. And it's pretty cool. It's why we're sitting here. I met you 2 times real quick, and I can see where your heart's at. And, and that means something in today's world. And it's the difference of, I think we live in a time where people are craving authenticity and transparency more than ever before. People want to know how to be good speakers or have a good podcast. Look at who you follow. You follow people you could tell their heart is aligned with what they're saying. So, and I feel that with you, man. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. It means the world coming from you, by the way. Thank you.
Here's what I'd say. First off, thank you for that great introduction. If you don't know me, it's okay. You know what? I don't have to go through my story. Here's the deal. You have lots of choices on things to listen to, but you're here with us today, and I promise I don't take time lightly. It's the only thing that we can't get more of. So if we're going to spend 30 minutes or so together, I'm going to promise to do at least the best of my ability to help you with my unique abilities. I hope you'll leave with a couple things that really make a difference. So thanks for spending time with us. So what have I been up to? It's a loaded question, right? Because there's family, there's business, but I'll share the one thing that I've kind of been obsessed on, especially, my partners and dear friend Tony Robbins feels the same way. Is I was in business in 1999 when the .com bubble burst and things shifted.
Y2K?
I was young in business, but I was in business. I was completely in business in 2007 when the world kind of completely shifted and every other house was in foreclosure or for sale, or some markets dropped 50%, and
it was a very painful time.
And now that we're seemingly here again, at least all the signs, I'm not an economist, but I've been here to know that all the signs are on the wall for a recession or something like a recession. And sometimes, even though people see it, we got gas prices up, we got inflation up, interest rates going up, real estate market's already being affected, stock market, crypto market. We got polarization in the media. The far left and the far right are fighting so much that they're leaving out everybody in the middle that just cares and feels that we have more in common than we do apart. So it's this time of uncertainty, and it comes after 2 years of the COVID shift, right? So we had a shift to virtual, and there was uncertainty with COVID, and we start coming out, this uncertainty comes. And here's what I know. When we're uncertain, and call that anything, afraid, fearful, lack of confidence, you don't have courage, kind of freezing, sitting on your hands, waiting to see how things go. When that happens, I think it's one of the scariest times in history, because I think our subconscious says, let's just wait. Maybe someone's coming to save us. And I think we all know no one's coming to save us. I don't care if you like the last president, if you're here in the United States, or you like the current one. Don't care. Wouldn't judge you either way. Or you hate both of them or you love both of them. Don't care. But has either one saved you? Have they came in and gave you more time with your family? Have they come in and paid off your bills or made you be rich? No, it is always on us, and it's always been on us since the beginning of time. But I believe that, you asked me what I was up to, I believe I need to be louder, stronger, and be the better version of myself today to help support people, because in times like this, when uncertainty gets high, confidence goes down a little bit of imposter syndrome or self-doubt, and we kind of play small. And I think this is the worst time in history to play small. This is a time to, like Wayne Gretzky says, he's good. He was good at hockey, right? One of the best hockey players in the world. They said, why are you good? You've heard the quote. Because he doesn't skate to where the puck is. He skates to where the puck is going. I think this is a time we have to gather as much information as you can, learn from people who've already been there, and you have to figure out where the world is going, and we need to skate there, because that's how you protect your family. That's how you protect the people you love. That's how you gain certainty, and that's how you thrive in an uncertain time, not just try to survive. I don't think there's a trying to survive. I think when you try to survive, you slide.
Agreed. You've been lighting souls on fire for decades, man. Everybody that I know, I'm new into the whole, I'm not a new entrepreneur, right? But I'm new into the space of personal development, self-mastery, right? And you and Tony are two of the guys that are, believe it or not, or I know you don't care about this stuff, but you're on that Mount Rushmore. And I know that it takes a lot. It takes a lot for folks like us, right, to pour into the world, right? A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are hurting. And, you know, I am one of those people. I came up, you know, born in Mexico, came here illegally, you know, poverty. I mean, the whole 9 yards, right? This is one of the reasons why I do what I do. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, what still gets you out of bed every day? Why do you do what you do? You continue to chip away every single day and try to light the world up as much as you can. Why is that?
Well, you know, I think, and I'll take this from Tony, my partner, and he got me in this industry 25 years ago. Wow. Is, you know, I think I can get goosebumps talking about it. If you can see my hair standing up on my arms, is because I think when we first start, we want to get away from the uncertainty of our lives. I know a little bit about your story, and my wife's family is one generation from that. Her dad came from Mexico, came across with a 7th grade education, didn't know where to start.
He probably has one of these. If you don't know what these are, this is the crazy shot they give you when you're not born here. I don't know what's going on.
But so I get that from her side, but I also, you know, I have my own story, and my parents married 9 times between them. We moved, we lived in trailer parks, got evicted. We all have our story, right? And I think there's a time when uncertainty can drive you. Like, I didn't want the uncertainty of my parents. I love my parents, but I watched them struggle, and everything was hard, and everything focused around the next paycheck. They couldn't come to my baseball games. They couldn't do those things because they didn't have the time, the freedom, or the control. So I think sometimes, and it's okay, I want to give you permission. If you are running away from pain, if that's what lights you up, use it. Everybody says it's unhealthy. I guarantee, Carlos, I'm sitting across from you. I know the success you've had. I know your past. I guarantee what got your ship off the ground was the pain of your parents struggling, or not having anything as a child, or getting made fun of, or hand-me-downs. I don't know what it was, but there was pain that drove you. Okay, was there pain that drove you? It's okay. If pain drives you, you can't live there forever. But if it gets the rocket off the ground, which is the hardest part, use it. So I think we want certainty in our lives. I use the word uncertain, right? With all the things that are going on. Absolutely. So we're saying, I want certainty. But I think there's this evolution, again, back to Tony Robbins sharing this with me ages ago, where we all want to end up, I believe, where life becomes like meaningful, where there's not like an end game. It's like, how do I just get better? How do I impact more? How do I do more? How do I grow as a human? Is growth and contribution.
I love it.
Or growth and love, right? Because at the end of the day, you have kids?
Yes, two baby girls.
2 baby girls, right? I know you had kids, 2 girls, right? At the end of the day, if I said right now you only have 1 or 2 choices, 2 healthy humans, adults, your daughters grow up and they live fulfilled, happy lives, and they love life, and they love you, and you have a connection, or 5 billion. There's no question which one you would take. Not even a question.
First option.
I'll go live outside. Make sure my daughters are okay.
I'll be the happiest human.
I can get emotional talking about it, thinking about my own kids, right?
Absolutely.
Because our hearts are designed to grow, to contribute, right? So when you can get yourself out of the pain, listen, use the pain of running away from who you used to be. Maybe I'm the only person that's ever going to say it. I think we need to go to the dark side sometimes. When you're procrastinating, or you feel like you can't get stuff going, stop just thinking I'm good enough and life is good enough and I can get better. It's like, no, look at the pain of leaving your life the way it is. Get disturbed with inaction. But when there's a certain time in success, and I don't know when it happens, and I'd love to say, I remember the day. I don't know the epiphany day, but I know there was a day it shifted for me, that I want to grow as a human, I want to contribute, and I want to learn to love more.
Absolutely.
And that, it's enough. I'm working harder today at 53 years old, and I'm not saying this to be an ass. I don't have to work another day in my life. I feel really blessed. I invested in smart ways. I own multiple companies. I have
You've
the
put
houses
in the work.
I want. What's that?
You've put in the work.
But I'm working harder today than I ever have, because I want to grow. I want to impact more lives. I've learned stuff during this journey of 30 years of being an entrepreneur that other people need. They're going to struggle without this information. They're going to get stuck. They're going to give up on themselves, whether it's mindset, tactics, marketing, strategy. They're going to get stuck. If I have the answer, aren't I obligated to share that? And doesn't it feel amazing that I get to make a living by impacting others? So that's the long answer to a short question is, man, when it shifts to growth and contribution or growth and love, man, the byproduct is more success than you ever had when you were just pushing.
You know, everything that you're saying, it just resonates with price. A lot of people out there that are going to be listening to this, this podcast, whether it's on YouTube or Apple, wherever they download this thing from, right? But people forget that folks like you and I are HAF, human ass, right? Mm-hmm. They see us, especially, a person like you, that they see all the success and they see everything that you got going on, and they see how you live your life, your lifestyle, etc. But they forget that, we still have our own vulnerabilities. Absolutely. We still have our own challenges in our lives every single day. Like, we have our own challenges.
It's not puppies and rainbows every day.
Why are people quick to believe that about folks that are like, on top of the mountain or whatever you want to call it? Why are they so quick to believe that, when in fact, the reason why we do what we do is for multiple reasons, but one is to get people out of living in pain, right? And to prevent pain from happening to people. You mentioned my daughters. Man, I'm pouring into them every single day. Every single day. She just turned 10 on Saturday. I got a 10-year-old. I got a 3-year-old. Every day I'm doing my best. There's an old saying, don't give your children all the things you didn't get, right? People like you and I, the way we grew up in all this pain and poverty and challenges, teach them all the things that you weren't taught. The things that our parents didn't teach us for one reason or another, right? I mean, whether your mom and dad were working, I know my mom was working 2 to 3 jobs. I was
same here.
You know what I mean? Right. So every single day, that's it. Like, my goal, I think, for folks like you and I, the rest of our lives, we've already created somewhat of our own empire. And for the rest of our lives, it's like, what are we leaving to the next generation, and then the next generation, and the next generation, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to a gentleman outside, Mr. Jeff, and he said, Carlos, sometimes the goal is, it's as simple as this. If your grandmother walked for 2 hours to get to a job, her objective and her goal was for your father or your mother to walk 30 minutes to get to a job. And his goal was for you to be able to drive a car to get to a job. And then maybe my goal is for my children to drive a Mercedes to get to it. You see, it goes down generation and generation and generation. And I feel like the stuff that you guys are working on right now, you and Tony, it's gonna change the world. You guys have already impacted millions and millions and millions of people. There's 8 billion people on Earth, 330 million people here in this country. I know for a fact that you guys have reached in the 9-figure range as far as the souls that you've been able to reach and impact. Even if it means, I'm not even talking on a monetary level, right? Yeah. Even if it means getting up and just feeling a little more grateful, and then that gratefulness, that gratitude, having a ripple effect on the way that they treat their wives, and the way that they treat their children, and the way that they treat other human beings, right? I feel like what you guys got going on right now with what you're creating, when you're going to launch out into the world here very soon, right? It's going to change lives like it's never changed lives before.
That's the goal.
Talk to me about that.
That's the goal.
Talk to me about what you guys got going on.
So I'm going to share what we have going on, but you asked me a question in the middle, and that was, what you shared was beautiful. And you shared one thing about people see others that are successful and think to themselves, man, he must not have to deal with that. He doesn't have to deal with, mental issues or negative thoughts, or someone who doesn't support me, or I feel insecure, or when no one's watching, I don't have confidence, or all those things, right? I don't realize we're all fighting our own thing, right? Absolutely. But something Jim Rohn said, and he taught Tony this, and it's really important to hear right now. I wrote this down while you were talking. For things to get better, we have to get better. For things to change, our thoughts have to change. If we want different finances, we have to have different capabilities. If we're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, Einstein had a quote for that. That's insanity, right? So I think if we look through, what if our goal wasn't to think we can have less problems? What if our goal was actually, I can handle bigger problems? Because I'd bet to say, Carlos, in your journey of success, your first $5,000 that you made was probably brutal and hard and stressful.
I remember.
And I bet you've made 500,000 or 50,000, whatever the number is as your evolution, 5 million, whatever it is. I bet you if you look at the stress of those, they both had the same feeling. The level of the problem was the same pain, the same worry, the same stress. And what I've figured out is instead of wishing for less problems, wish to get better, like Jim Rohn said, get better at handling bigger problems.
Wow.
Because if you're the guy or the girl at the table that handles the biggest problems, you're usually the most wealthy.
For sure.
True or not?
Yep.
Somebody says, no, that's too much stress for me. That's great. That's your life. But don't complain, because
be happy.
Be happy with where you are. If you don't want to do it, like
Absolutely.
find your level. But if you want more, you don't think you're going to avoid problems. Just realize you're going to get better at handling bigger problems till you get to the point where you can't handle it. You bring that to me. I got this. Right? So I think it's just a shift in a mindset. First off, realize we all got crap. I could sit here for an hour and tell you the crap that I'm still going through in my head. I went through a divorce. I lost all my money. I went 2 years without talking to my dad. I see my mother once a year now. Like, there's all kinds of things. I've made mistakes in launches and books and life, but all of those things sharpen the axe, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I tell my kids this all the time. I'm like, both of them play sports. They both play baseball. My daughter pitches. They both pitch. She pitches softball. He pitches baseball. And I always tell them, you win the most by the games you lose. And that's a hard mindset to understand. The two things I always tell them is you win games when no one's watching. So I really push them hard to practice when no one's watching so they can look great on game day. But you'll learn more from the games you lose than you will you win, right? And when you realize that we're all losing games, we all have things go sideways, but the ones that are succeeding know that they just found a way to follow Jim Rohn and what Tony Robbins says, for things to get better, I must get better. I need to handle more, do more. So that's why personal development, that's why working on yourself is so important. And then the second thing is putting that effort in something that can have exponential return, right? And yes, what Tony and I are doing. And write this down. On August 2nd through the 6th, we are doing a challenge. I'll tell you why we call it the challenge in a minute, called the Time to Thrive. And you can go to thrive145.com, thrive145.com. You can see what it's all about. But let me just share. The reason we're calling Time to Thrive is because when the world shifts and uncertainty's high, like you asked me in the beginning of this interview, people don't realize they freeze. They sit on their hands and go, let's see what happens.
I've seen it happen
and
a
that's
lot.
when you're left behind. And this is not a time to freeze or try to play it safe. This is a time to gain new capabilities and thrive. So that's why we're calling it Time to Thrive. We're calling it a challenge because we're going to challenge you to think different every single day. And we're going to even challenge you with some actions. It's about 90 minutes a day. It's Tony Robbins, myself, and some amazing guests from Russell Brunson and Jenna Kutcher and other people that you'll know. Even Matthew McConaughey is going to come and be a part of it as well, because I love his book, Green Lights.
Oh yeah,
good book, wasn't it? Yeah. Crazy dude, love that guy.
Amazing individual.
And over 5 days, we're going to show you something that every one of us has inside of us: the ability to sell what you know. I know that sounds like, I don't know any other way to explain it. I could say it's the self-education industry, the information industry, but really, one of the fastest growing industries in the world is the industry you're in. This is not where you started. You made your money in other areas, but now now you're giving back. You're sharing your life experiences. You're here with me. We're sharing our life experiences. We are doing self-education right now. We're sharing something. If one thing I shared today helped you, then I did my job. You're learning from someone who's already been there. But what the world doesn't realize is, or a lot of people don't realize, is this industry is about $1 billion a day. It's exponentially growing, and the world wants to learn from Carlos and Bob and Joe and Lisa and Diane and Debbie, not the experts. They want to learn from people who've already experienced it. And what I'll say is, all of us have a skill, a hobby, a passion, a mess that can become your message. You have a life experience that is insanely valuable when you know how to unlock it, package it, offer it, sell it, whether that's a coach, being a coach, or creating a course, or an ebook, or a mastermind, or a workshop. All of us have a life experience that is beyond valuable. And you don't have to store it. You don't have to pay for it. It doesn't go bad. It's beyond valuable. You get to impact people's lives, and you get paid to do it. So we decided about 3.5 years ago, we wanted to share with people what we do. We've been doing it for 65 years. We're still doing a pretty good job at it. Combined between the two of us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
40 for him, 25-ish for me. And it became a movement. And now we're going to do this challenge. I think we'll put 1 million people in it. It's not kind of free. It's completely free. Don't discredit it because it's free. A lot of times people don't show up for free. We almost charged for it this year, even at $5 just so people show up.
Yeah.
But people need us now more than ever, and we want to do it. So please don't discredit this. You could pay $1,000 for this in a moment.
What can people expect to take away from joining this challenge?
Yeah, so what I'd say is come as an investigative reporter. If you've ever tried to be a coach, create a course, a workshop, you see other people making money online, you wonder how, you need to be there. If you've dabbled as a coach, you need to be there. Or you're just someone that wants to bolt on an additional product to a business that you already have, a digital product that doesn't have inventory costs, you need to be there. And over 5 days, day 1 will show you why this industry, why now, and why you should be in it. Day 2 will help you figure out exactly what you should be selling, who you should sell it to. How do you get it out to the world? How do you sell through service? And how do you build a following? Even if you don't have one person that follows you now, how do you build a following? All that's covered in these 5 days. We have some amazing guests. And, we did it last year. We had 950,000 people register, hundreds of thousands of comments. And just thank you. Yeah. The number one comment is, I can't believe you're doing this for free. Can't believe you're doing it for, thousands of, can't believe you're doing this for free.
That's what I was
And this might be the last time we ever do it, because it's hard to put a million people together, to get Tony's time for 5 days, my time, all these experts. It's way more work than anybody could think, but it's so rewarding. And we're doing it August 2nd, so I'd hate for you to miss it.
Well, I'm going to go through it, and I want my community to go through it also. And I think the message today, brother, is, in order to have more, right? Whether it's not just money, right? Yeah. In order to have more love, more health, more wealth, whatever, in order to have more, you have to become more.
True story.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you so much for your time today, man. And I'm looking forward to learning a lot more from you specifically. So thank you, brother.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.